So good evening first of all from AMA. Welcome all of you here. Difficult मौसम है, unpredictable है, पता नहीं 8 बजे अब क्या होगा, and still we come. So that's our commitment to learning, which is great and which is really lovable. So thank you very much. So introduction of our speaker, wonderful topic, one topic which is very much the need of the hour today. So Professor Hitesh Shukla, PhD, CFBA, FDPM from IIM Ahmedabad, is an academician and shaper of the family business field. For decades, his insights, advice, lectures, and writing have helped to develop leaders, professionalize business, and strengthen families, and pass sustainable experiences to enterprises from one generation to next. And that is again something very, very important, so that if somebody has put in effort once, the legacy should be carried on, and that's he's an expert of. Professor Shukla advises families on topics such as long-term success, ownership and family governance, developing next generation, success transitions, conflict resolutions, ownership and business strategy, professionalizing the family business and family, and career planning and other issues important to family enterprises. Dr. Shukla is currently working as a professor at the Department of Business Management, Saurashtra University. He is studying right now on businesses that have completed 100 years. And he's trying to understand the details. I'm sure he'll share a lot of insights on that. A little bit more. He told me to keep it less, this introduction, but I've tried to keep it for 50%, so I'll still continue. His case of corporate governance of Satyam was well received by family business owners. Dr. Shukla has developed many management cases of family-based businesses, of which 2 have been registered with the case unit in IIM Ahmedabad and Ivy Publishing at Harvard website. So I think without much ado, thank you very much. We all welcome Professor Shukla here. And I'd like to give a... So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mehta Sahab, for this nice introduction. And thank you very much, you all, because today evening is a little difficult for all Ahmedabad's people. But I know this evening will be very fruitful for all of us because of AMA. This evening we are going to talk about, transition. And with my last experience of 30 years working with various family-owned businesses, the most difficult thing I've seen in my life is transition from one generation to the next. That's very painful. Here I want to touch you. See, I've added one word, progressive transition. Believe me, I have a punchline that family business never fail. Business never fail. Is the relationship fail, and as a reaction, business fail. Because you will get so many consultants, so many, your supporting system to protect your business. But do we have anyone who will support your family, who will support your relationship? And that's how family business कैसे grow कैसे होता है, आप मेरे को बताएंगे? See, here there are many senior people, many next gen, many third generation, and someone is from fourth generation is sitting here. For your knowledge, if you look at the global data, only 3% businesses of the world go beyond third generation. Founder, देखिए एक business कैसे बनता है? It's someone's dream. It's someone's desire. उसको कैसे आप एक वो जो फैमिली बिजनेस है ना, the seeds is sown on the land, कहाँ पे, कौन सी मिट्टी पे वो उगता है, उसको कैसे सींचा जाता है? If you look at these seeds, जिसको बहुत hard work and lot of pain. If you just dig deeper, you will find so many sacrifice. If you are a second generation leader, you just try to understand your family story, how they have grown up the business. It's not the sacrifice of one person, it may be a sacrifice of the entire family. तब जाके वो ऐसा बड़ा आपको एक ट्री दिखेगा. So what is the responsibility of next generation? So it is always painful for the founder. See, founder has not lived a life except the business, because for him there is no difference between the dining table and office table. आप इनिशियली किसी भी फाउंडर फर्स्ट जनरेशन को पूछिए कि वो सुबह में चाय पीते पीते क्या बात करते हैं, बिजनेस. रात को सोते वक्त लास्ट थॉट क्या होगा, बिजनेस, बिजनेस एंड बिजनेस. Now from there, it is always transition from driving seat to the passenger seat. It's very, very painful. Because when you are on the driving seat, you can stop where you want. But when you are on the passenger seat, you are dependent. But किसको आपको वो driving seat देना है? See, we are thinking here just about मेरे बाद कौन आएगा, मेरा बेटा. That is the story we are looking or we are thinking about. But I have worked with some of the organizations that is 46 generation old. How many generation old? 46 generation, and still they are continuing. Still they all are continuing, transition is going on. Now just look why this subject is very, very interesting or very, very important. The numbers are not important. When you are in the first generation, when you are the founder, maybe your ownership is 100%. When it's split in the second generation, all right, say for example 3, 4, maybe 4, 25%, then go beyond the third generation and then 46 generation. What the percentage, what the number is? At the time of transition, number is not important. Legacy is important. Culture is important. I have worked during this COVID time in one of the group in Saudi Arabia. That group has, this group is in the fourth generation. First generation, then 12 children, and each one has 12, 13. So in the third generation to fourth generation, there are 168 owners. What is the best part of this family is, they all are living together. And they have a process of deciding who will be the next gen leader. So see, this transition is not about the succession. मेरे बाद कौन इस चेयर को संभालेगा? That's not the things that we have to decide. It's not about the ownership or leadership transition. See, first अगर हम देखें इसको, if we go ahead, yeah, the second generation, or whatever the next generation, not the second generation, but the next generation, we have to think about the survival. Survival of, kiska survival? We think that it's money. See, believe me, in this 45-minute session, I'll not touch or I will not speak a word about finance. I'll not talk about the profit and money. Kiska survival? Relationship. Because I started with one quotation. If you are connected with your roots and connected with your family members, your business will survive. And then your business will grow. Right? You will grow means you are taking it to the next level. What do you mean by next level? There is a gentleman sitting here who will talk more about the business strategy and business models. But I'm not talking here about the growth means taking your business to the next level. Next level means, are you developing your network? If your network is strong, then your business will automatically grow. See, success of business is a end result of your relations. आप कैसे अपने फैमिली के साथ, अपने रिलेशंस के साथ बिल्ट अप हो, कनेक्टेड हो. So I'm talking to you all about managing your family aspect of business. I'm not talking to you about the business aspect of business. For that we can talk about some other time. So if you focus only on why this business, only 3% business go beyond third generation, the reason is that we are focusing more on the business than on the family. I stayed in the morning on the business start on the dining table. आपकी सुबह की चाय के साथ क्या start हो जाता है? Business. And end आप जब बेडरूम में सोते हो तब जाता है. मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आपने बिजनेस को उतना टाइम दिया, एंड पर्टिकुलरली फॉर द फर्स्ट जनरेशन we sometimes not able to manage the balance between business and the family, and that is the reason I've seen in my 30 years journey that business are flourishing, but family aspect पे क्या हो जाता है, relations spoil, and that's the reason why families are splitting, why the business are dividing, right? अगर बिजनेस को आपको आगे लेके जाना है तो यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द सर्वाइवल, ग्रोथ, and then you can think about the generational success. What do you mean by generational success? Great Professor John Ward, he said that family business, मेरे पास जो family business है ना, that is I have owned from my grandchildren. Just try to understand the statement. I have borrowed it from my grandchildren. That means this is my responsibility as a leader of the business and the family to hand over it to my grandchildren. अगर मुझे मेरे grandchildren को देना है उसके रेंज, तो क्या करना पड़ेगा, उसको एक संभाल के आगे लेके जाना पड़ेगा. हाउ टू प्रोटेक्ट द बिजनेस एंड हाउ टू प्रोटेक्ट द फैमिली. ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन को देना है तो क्या होना चाहिए, यू मस्ट हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट योर फैमिली रिलेशनशिप. It's all about, now we are moving to the next generation. This is a great slide for you all. What is the role of a next generation? What is, if I ask a question, what is the role of a next generation? You will say it's all about business managing, ये करना है, वो करना है. मैं बता रहा हूँ, business is all about creating legacy. We have to create our own story, building inheritance. अगर उसको करना है तो आपको अपने फैमिली रिलेशंस पे काम करना पड़ेगा, अपने बिजनेस की स्टेक होल्डर. सी फैमिली बिजनेस इज ऑल अबाउट, आप देखिए बिरलास को देखिए, आप बिरलास को इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि जहाँ जहाँ जाते थे, व्हाट दे वर डूइंग, they were not starting the business initially, they were starting building community. That's why they call it's not a family business, it's a business family. The person who is working with us, they are a part of my business, that are the part of my family. So you have to take care of your business and family as a family members, and you have to manage your ownership, because once your ownership, you are transferring from one generation to other generation, you have to think about the control. Here, not the control of the ownership, but you have to think about the control of the business. Because I told you that 46th generation, the ownership may not be 1%, but deciding, do we have any systems wherein we can pass on the ownership in a right hand? And that's why there are various models. We cannot, discuss all the models in just 45 minutes, but we can think. And it's when you have to think about building your institution, next generation, we have to transfer our values and vision. It's the values that the family carries. This is the foundation. देखिए आपका family का जो foundation बनेगा ना, that will be built in your home. कहाँ से बनेगा? Because next generation, when they are coming, particularly beyond third generation, I'm talking to you about the beyond third generation and a large family. सबके साथ में अपने मन के अंदर एक है ना baggages लेके आते about the family members and about the relationship. Do we have any systems wherein we can clear the relationship? That's why I call that, are you sleeping? This is again a second question I always ask to my friends, business owner friends. Are you sleeping alone at night, or are you inviting so many people inside your mind? रात को हम लोग है ना कितने लोगों को अपने दिमाग के अंदर लेके सोते हैं. So what I want is, next generation को क्या करना चाहिए? They have to clear the relationships. If not, you have to create as a senior generation, as a now generation, for the next generation. It's your responsibility to develop a process कि जहाँ पे उसके जो baggages है, किसके baggages? About the relationship, about the family members, that we need to clear. And of course, entrepreneurship mindset. Again, many families I have seen, only one person is working and the other persons are enjoying their business profit. The reason I ask the questions, are you working for the business or business is working for you? If you are not working for the business, you don't have any right. It's not about the right that this is inherent business, so I am getting the ownership from my father, from my family members. If you are not contributing to the business, then you don't have any right. So it's all about, managing the leadership and managing the entrepreneurship mindset, that are you really interested in the business to take it to the next level? And the leadership is a servant leadership. We can get it from the Indian mythology. Lord Krishna, he win so many things, but he never keep anything for himself. He gave it back to the person who can manage it for the betterment of the society. So that leadership model we can use here for the success of family business. And here, I would like to quote here in the leadership, if the personal interest and the family interest and the business interest, if they don't go in line, I give you one example. Suppose I am a now Gen, my next Gen is a doctor, medical doctor, and he or she is interested in creating a new hospital in Ahmedabad, which is not my domain, my family business. They are not interested. So their personal interest, business interest, and the family's interest is not aligning. So they will not work properly. So your role as a now Gen is to create a breaching between the generations and their interest. You can create it if you have, surplus. I'm coming to that in the next slide. Then, of course, what family business is lacking? It's very easy. People say family business is easy and to start. Of course, it's easy to start, but it is very, very difficult to manage. Because in a family business, you have to manage two things. One side you have to manage the business, and other side you have to manage family. So it's a parallel planning process. You have to take both the things together. If you take only one thing, the other thing will not be with you, and you have to bear the cost of the other thing. And that the other thing is always be of the family and the family relationship. So of course, finally, you have to take the business to the next level. That is your growth of the business. This slide is a wonderful slide. All right. When you are transiting from one generation to other generation, that decides your future. What you are looking for. Aapko kya chahiye? Because when you are moving from one generation to the other, you have to take decisions about the ownership distribution. When you are thinking about the ownership distribution, what you have to do? I am giving it to my son, then to their son, to their next family members. Yes. If they are working in the business, their mindset and the skill set would be different. But if my son is in the different direction, as I told, selecting a line of medicine and starting his own hospital, his interest and his ownership, then he is not a owner-driver. All right, he's a owner-investor in the business. When the owner-driver and owner-investor, the expectations are different from generation and from person to person. So what we have to do when we are moving from one generation to the other, we have to think about the expectations of one generation and the other generation, expectations of one family members and other family members. Do we have any platform wherein we can discuss all these issues? If not, we have to create a family council wherein everybody is coming and expressing their views, fears and feelings. And someone who is a CEO of the family, chief emotional officer, he can think about the worry of that person and clarify the anxiety and clarify the ownership and the income stream of the one. I told that the founder को सबसे बड़ा pain क्या होता है? If I leave it to the next generation, will the next generation manage and protect the business? The same way, the first and foremost objective of next generation is protect, preserve and grow. What you have to do? Protect, preserve and grow. आप इसको protect को किसी भी साथ ले हो. If you can take it with the money, you can take it with the wealth, you can take it with the culture, you can take it with the values, you can take it with the relationship. It's your responsibility. Being a leader, next generation leader, getting a owner, it's a responsible owner. What do you mean by responsible owner? Because in family business, it's not the majority that wins. It's the minority's interest you have to take in care. Suppose my brother is having only 2% ownership and I have 12% ownership. There are in India, there are many case studies wherein the ownership is transferred, but management won. Please remember, the ownership is transferred because the generation person is died. His ownership is given to the next generation of his family, but they have not given a chair sitting in the boardroom. That means you lost the management right. You lost the identity in your business. So transition is always a painful. You have to think about it in the three things: ownership, leadership, and relationship. You have to manage the relationship of your family. You have to have in place your ownership agreement. कि मेरे बाद मेरी ओनरशिप किसको जाएगी, ओनरशिप के साथ किसको क्या मिलना चाहिए. डू दे गेट लीडरशिप, यस और नो. इफ दे गेट द लीडरशिप, कहाँ तक जाएंगे. डू वी हैव अ क्लियर कट आइडिया. देर आर गुड फैमिलीज इन इंडिया, दे आर वर्किंग एट 7 and 8 जनरेशन, जिसमें आज की डेट में आप देखोगे 8 जनरेशन, there are 16 family owners and family members, but you will surprise, only 3 of them are on the board. I'm talking to you about the leadership. But they have a very, very strong relationship. When they are in the family council, everybody is treated as equal. But when they are in the business, they have clarified the roles and responsibilities. The 3 person who are there on the board, it's their responsibility to take care of the other family members. Right, and their interest, that is their ownership. So I mean to say, transition is managing all about your governance. You have to decide when you are moving from one generation to the other, because every generation, see the small part, the foundation that shows a controlled ownership. That means the foundation. The father is the king. That's a king model. His words become the rules. He won't ask. But when it is given to the second generation, suppose Indian tradition, the elder brother will be given the crown and he will be sitting as a chairman or the MD of the organization. But can he run the business like his father? The controlled ownership? The sibling partnership cannot run. The governance rules are different. Father were not involving anyone, but when you are moving to the second generation, it's your responsibility to involve everyone, gather their interests, gather their views, and then take the interest of the business as an interest of the family. Not the family's interest is the first, but the business interest is the first. Because if the business is protected, the family is automatically protected. That is the observations of so many research studies done by that. And now when we're moving from the sibling to the cousins, see, when you are moving from sibling to the cousins, the value systems may be differ, because there is a great role of women is playing a vital role. And that's why I say that, there are baggages in the next generations and the family members. So we must have, that is the role of advisors, who can tell you what is good and what is not good for the business and what is good for the family and for the business. So we have to teach the foundation. We have in India one very good family living in Chennai. They have business houses in Singapore and Malaysia. They have started a school called Sunday School. The next gen who are born, brought up in that country, a particular person is sent from India to teach them Tamil, to teach them how to wear the Tamil saris and the ornaments and making the foods and eating the South Indian foods. to preserve their culture, to preserve the value systems, and teach them one question, one answer, that why are we doing what are we doing? हम लोग क्यों साथ में है? ये बिजनेस को साथ में चलाना, is it the money, is it the profit that we want? See, that was an initial stage, survival stage, it may be there. But thereafter, once you cross the level, once you establish, then it is not the only aspect of doing the business. So what is that? Is the family is the glue or the business is the glue? See, if the family and relation is the glue, then there is not a problem for taking your business to the next level. So what my point is, when you are moving from one generation to the next generation, at any generation, you have to pass on your values कि हम लोग ये business क्यों चला रहे हैं. Teach your next generation कि हमें क्या लेके जाना है. What are we looking for? We have to explain them about the expectations of senior generation, expectations of the family, and expectations of business, and expectations of the key stakeholders. Because I told you that Birlas, they are building their communities first. That was the reason why they have created Birla temples. All right, because it was a meeting place. They do the meetings, they connect with the people, with the local community, involve with them. So is the next generation is connected with the key stakeholders? What are the challenges we can think about it? The first and foremost challenge is acceptance of the next generation. You must see that the person whom we are considering as our next gen leader, is he or she is accepted by the family is the first question. Many a time the person is able, person is willing, but he is not accepted by the other family members in the business. Then managing the complex relationship, again I am talking to you about the family, and easy managing the family constitutions and the family council. If not, go for the second model. Don't select only one person, select two person. There are great families here in India wherein two joint leaders are managing business as well as family. And in India, there are two CEOs, one CEO, chief emotional officer, what I told in the family, and the other one CEO is in the business. Right? So one person is managing the business and other person is managing the family. There are two boards. In family board, everybody is treated as equal, but the three people who are on the company's board, they'll manage about the business and they will create a bridge between the family and the business. So that is you have to manage the complex relationship with your family. Believe me, passing on generations, there will be more complexity in your relationship than the business. Right? So that is a big challenge for you all. Clarify expectations, what I told about the various stakeholders, managing the harmony, differences of expectations, interest groups, and culture, ownership, and governance and changes. Governance, I'll tell you, from every generation governance change होगा. Suppose I am living in Ahmedabad, मेरा एक factory है इधर वटवा में, and I am living somewhere here in South Bhopal. तो my grandfather is having a car. ग्रैंडफादर के पास उस ज़माने की एक गाड़ी थी. उस गाड़ी आज भी हम लोगों ने उसको संभाल के रखी है. And we every day go to the factory in that car. And I myself is driving the car for last 20-30 years. ठीक है. उस गाड़ी में मैं जाता हूँ रोज फैक्ट्री तक वटवा तक जाता हूँ 20-25 किलोमीटर का ड्राइव करता हूँ मॉर्निंग एंड गो कम बैक टू माई होम अगेन विद द सेम कार 20-30 किलोमीटर्स. अब हमने क्या किया, नाउ आई आस्क टू यू दैट आई हैव टू गो टू मुंबई, वुड यू ज्वाइन मी? मेहता साहब को मैंने बोला कि मेहता साहब वुड यू कम टू मुंबई विथ मी इन द कार? मेहता साहब ने बोला कि सर ये कार में हम नहीं आ पाएंगे बिकॉज द कार इज़ वेरी ओल्ड. अब मेहता साहब को मैंने बोला कि मेहता साहब मैं ना, अब हम लोगों ने एक नया कार लिया है, वॉल्वो कार. मेहता साहब क्या करेंगे, अब आएंगे नहीं आएंगे? मेहता साहब आएंगे आप मेरे साथ? आएंगे. बट मेहता साहब शुड आस्क मी वन मोर क्वेश्चन, सर कौन चलाएगा? कौन चलाएगा? अब मैं बोला कि सर मैं चलाएगा, बिकॉज आई एम ड्राइविंग द कार, आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ 27 ईयर्स. लेकिन तुम्हें एक्सपीरियंस है कितना है? 27 टू गो एंड 27 टू कम. यू हैव टू ड्राइव एट अ स्ट्रेच 500 किलोमीटर्स. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट्स? बिजनेस मॉडल, आपको कार क्या है? बिजनेस मॉडल. एंड ड्राइवर कौन है? द स्किल्स एंड कैपेबिलिटीज. द स्किल्स एंड कैपेबिलिटीज जो आपको एक जनरेशन को आगे लेके गया, वो दूसरे जनरेशन में आप जाएंगे तो वो स्किल्स, कैपेबिलिटी, माइंडसेट एंड व्हीकल विल नॉट टेक यू सक्सेसफुली. ट्रांजिशन नहीं होगा. अगर सक्सेसफुली ट्रांजिशन नहीं हुआ तो आपका बिजनेस जाएगा, फैमिली भी जाएगा. योर रिलेशंस विल स्पॉइल एंड योर फाइनेंशियल्स विल गॉन. इंडिया में ऐसा बहुत सारा फार्मास्यूटिकल्स कंपनी का एग्जाम्पल्स है, which was sold to Japanese companies, then to Indian companies, and then that two boys, they spoiled the money and they spoiled their even life and relationship. There are n number of stories. We don't have any right to say good or bad about any family, but we are taking the examples just for the understanding the concept. ठीक है. Now if we have to drive the vehicle कि अब चेन्नई जाना है, so you need a professional driver. Now what I mean to say, when you are thinking about the succession, when you are thinking about a transition, do you want to drive on your own? If yes, do you have that muscle power to drive the vehicle? The skill set, the mindset? If not, hire someone who can drive on your behalf. That is the professional driver, the outside executives who is managing your बिजनेस. तो आपका रोल क्या है? स्ट्रेटजी बनाओ, ऑब्जर्व करो, क्वार्टरली मीटिंग करो एंड गेटिंग द इनसाइट्स एंड मैनेजिंग द फैमिली. थर्ड रोल, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. आपको ये भी नहीं करना है. देर आर वेरियस फैमिलीज, वो ये भी रोल नहीं करते. दे हैव इन्वॉल्व आउटसाइडर्स एज अ डायरेक्टर्स, एंड इस टाइम दे बिकम्स ओनली अ इन्वेस्टर इन द बिजनेस and enjoying their returns on the investment. They are not into the business, they are not into the driving seat, they are not into the strategy, but they are enjoying the ownership and they are managing the legacy. There are questions to ask for the next generation. Is the next generation ready to take over the business? Yes. The biggest question here in India today, what I am looking in family businesses, the next generation is not ready to take the business to the next level. They are because they are settled in some other countries, they are moving to some other part of the world. All right. Are they capable? If yes, are they willing? That should not be a force from the father's side. All right. In Rajkot, I have a family. Its case is written here in IIM Ahmedabad. Ashok Machine Tools. All right. Third generation, three brothers were managing the business, one great business. The next generation has different aspirations, and father allowed him to do the business. All right. He was capable, he was having a passion and willingness for other business. So now that business is managed by the outsiders. So that is the business model that you have to accept. And the next question is, have you prepared your blueprint for your success? Okay, what is the success for the business? What is the success for you? Because every generation put their own footprints. कि मेरा success क्या होगा? If it is clear to the family and the key stakeholders, then there will not be any problems. And you have to bridge the gap between the generations. Because the senior generation बोलेंगे कि if you have to do the business, do it on my way. Otherwise highway. ठीक है, करना है तो मेरे रास्ते से करो, नहीं तो तुम्हारा कोई काम नहीं है. No, what is very, very important lesson for all the senior generation is accept the change. Accept the change which is not touching your core of the family values and core of the business. Because every change is necessary. Without change, अगर आप वही तरीके से business करोगे, then you will not grow. So you have to bridge the gap between the thought process of the senior generation and the next generation is the ability. If they are not able, make them able. कैसे बनाएंगे able आप उसको? Give them a non-family executives. Tell them, involve them in the business, कि आप कल से business में आओ. See, I'll quote here one case study that is of Bajaj. You know, when Bajaj scooter were transferred, the first factory was created in Pune. उस टाइम उसके बच्चे वही क्या कॉलोनी में रहते थे, वही माहौल देखते थे, कैसे बिजनेस का सेटअप होता था, एंड दैट माइंडसेट हैज हेल्प द बिजनेस टू टेक इट टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल. Right, so that do you have any model to groom the next generation? If not, please create it. And then alignment of different stakeholder and owners group. Maybe if you look at beyond family business or professional family business, there are non-family investors. Their mindset or their expectations are different. So prepare a grooming process that teaches the next generation कि हम ये क्यों कर रहे हैं, why are we doing. This is a wonderful slide for you all. As a now generation, as a senior generation, we have to identify the people involved in the next generation. Who is who? देखिए who is who में क्या है, is the person is a steward means is he protecting the business, preserving the business, and is he managing the profit and managing the lifestyle of the business. Give him this kind of grooming because his mindset is managing. If the next person is entrepreneur, someone who wants to do, see देखो बहुत सारे families इंडिया के अंदर ये है कि they are managing their businesses, बच्चे को बोल देता है कि तू ये एक वेंचर स्टार्ट कर, we will support you, but that venture is under the umbrella of the same family. Right, if the mindset is that he needs production, groom in that way. If someone is transformer, जिसका कुछ नया करने का innovations, then groom him in that way. Give him freedom and flexibility. Allow him to make mistakes. Because we as a father, we as a next senior generation, we think that मेरा बच्चा पहले दिन से क्या होना चाहिए, CEO. As a father and as a next generation leader, we have to think our role beyond CEO. Everybody is not born to be the CEO. There are great companies in India जिसके बच्चे कैपेबल है, विलिंग है, एबल है, सब कुछ है, बट आज तक वो आईटी कंपनी के अपने पिताजी की जगह पे दोनों बच्चे बैठे नहीं है. द रीज़न इज कि दे आर ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स. अभी तक उसका माइंडसेट ट्रांसफॉर्मर से आगे नहीं बना है. एंड देर आर समवन हु वांट टू बी एन एंटरप्रेन्योर. वो कुछ नया करेगा, इससे फैमिली के बाहर जाके कुछ करेगा, नया करेगा, विच समटाइम फैमिली में नॉट बिलीव. तो किस तरह की पर्सनालिटी है उस तरह से आप उसको क्या दो, ग्रूमिंग दो. आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड अ मॉडल विच इज कॉल्ड द ग्रूमिंग मॉडल, फन, लर्न एंड एक्सेल. देखिए, व्हेन आई सेड मिस्टर बजाज व्हेन मूव फ्रॉम मुंबई टू पुणे, वही कॉलोनी के अंदर 300 लोग रहते थे जिसमें सब लोग आ गए, नीचे से लेके चेयरमैन तक लोग. उसी बच्चों के साथ अपना बच्चा, मतलब चेयरमैन का बच्चा भी खेल रहा है, वही स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है, वही मशीन के साथ खेल रहा है. सो फॉर हिम द बिजनेस इज अ फन, बट दैट इज अ ग्रेट लर्निंग. When the son is, I mean to say the next gen is quite young, it is the responsibility of senior generation to tell them the stories of the family. Bajaj has prepared a movie for their own family. कथनी करनी एक है, that is the title of the movie. ठीक है, कि जो हम बोलते हैं वही हम लोग को करना है. The actions and thought process go in line. That has made an impact on the next gen leader of the family. अब देखो, आप अगर उसको फन में अपने फैमिली के बारे में, अपने नेक्स्ट सीनियर जनरेशन के बारे में, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को उनके सेक्रीफाइस के बारे में बताओगे, तो देन दैट बॉय और गर्ल, इफ दे हैव टू टॉक टू द अंकल और आंटी, he will think twice. So the seeds of the next generation foundation will start at a quite early age. That is the role of the senior generation. Then learn. Learning means so learning again, I'll say, first you have to learn about the family. लोग बोलते हैं कि तुम्हें बाहर जाके ये स्किल करना है, वो स्किल वी कैन लर्न एट एनी एज एंड एनी टाइम, ऑलराइट, बट यू कैन नॉट लर्न अबाउट द फैमिली एंड द सेक्रीफाइस एंड द रिलेशनशिप, that should be learned at an early age. So learning about the family, then learning about the business. Put him under someone who is non-family executives, कि जिसके अंडर में वो बच्चा काम करेगा एंड रिपोर्टिंग करेगा एज इफ ही इज अ ट्रेनी, नॉन फैमिली कोई बच्चा आके ट्रेनी ले रहा है, देन यू कैन थिंक अबाउट उसका रिपोर्टिंग होगा, देन उसका पैरामीटर्स चेक होगा. So many families, they are involving their next gen into the business without clear purpose कि मैं ये department में क्यों जा रहा हूँ, what is my learning outcome of that particular department. हर department में वो excel हो जाए, that's a learning. Then give him an independent work कि अब तुम है ना ये independent इसको संभालो, and give him some support system which may not be from the family. Try to give him some non-family executives who can guide them. All right. The greatest lesson we can learn here is from Indian mythology again, Ramayana. When Ram and Lakshmans were quite young, they were sent to fight with the domains. When the Brahmins came to complain the Raja Dasrath कि हम लोग यज्ञ कर रहे हैं और राक्षस लोग हमारे यज्ञ के अंदर कुछ हड्डियाँ डाल रहे हैं, ठीक है. आप अपने आप को पूछिए कि दशरथ के साथ या उसकी सेना के अंदर कोई ऐसे महारथी नहीं थे जो जाके उस राक्षस के साथ लड़े. दशरथ ने किसको भेजा? 2 छोटे बच्चे को. वो बच्चे कौन थे? नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. किसके साथ? विश्वामित्र के साथ. कौन थे विश्वामित्र? नॉन फैमिली एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, ठीक है, बट उसके ट्रस्टवर्दी, हु इज मोस्ट कैपेबल. अब वो लेके गए कि देखो आप जाओ, इसको देखो, इनको लड़ाई करने दो, अगर इसके ऊपर कोई रिस्क आए तो तुम उन लोगों को क्या करना? संभाल लेना. दैट वाज अ प्रोटेक्शन क्रिएटेड बाय द फादर. दैट्स व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू कि अपने बच्चे को है ना, अब जब वो बच्चा राम और लक्ष्मण वापिस आए उस युद्ध को करके, तो गांव लोगों ने देखा, अयोध्या के वासियों ने, अरे ये दोनों बच्चे ने तो युद्ध किया. Now once the boy will be the king, one day he will take the charge. That time people will respect him, not as a child of Dasrath, but he has earned his business. So don't gift the business to your child, let them to earn the business. कि मेरा बिजनेस है. दैट्स वाई आई टोल्ड यू कि आप हर एक बच्चे को ये दिमाग में मत डालो कि मेरे बाद ये चेयर तेरा है. You can have the ownership, but if you are not capable, you may not have the chair. This chair you have to earn, because there are 12 next gen leaders. If they are not capable, you cannot do it, and that's why we are 5 minutes more. Okay, there are roles. You have to take the different roles in your things, and change is about complement of course. The role of mentor is very, very important things in your things. Now we are running short of time, so we are moving. This is a 4-room model given by Joss in Harvard Business School. This is a wonderful model that needs to teach to every family member, next generation. Who are you? देखो आपके घर के अंदर 4 रूम होंगे, but you don't have a right to move around. कभी भी आप नहीं जा सकते हो. आप किस रूम के अंदर प्लेस हो, what room you have the right, उसी रूम के अंदर आप जा सकते हो. देखो बट रूम कैसे है? सभी रूम एक दूसरे के साथ इंटरकनेक्टेड है, ठीक है. सो फैमिली हैज एक्सेस ऑफ ऑल द 3 रूम्स, बट they have a limited access. They have access to get the information through their representatives in 3 different rooms, that is owner, board and management. I skipped this slide. This is all about inside the family and outside the family. I talk about Mr. Bajaj. This is a wonderful family of Japan, Kikimon, Mugi family, 16 generation. Is managing their traditions, honing the skills and mindset of the people of 16 generation. All right. And they are transferring family values to the next generation. They are not worried more about the skills. They are worried about the value transferring. What you want to transfer to the next generation, that is very, very important for you. This is again a very interesting case study of Brazil called Random, इन्होंने अपने यहाँ एक सिस्टम बनाया नेक्स्ट जेन ग्रूमिंग का, कि नेक्स्ट जेन आगे जाके अपना रोल कैसे डिसाइड करे. इट्स नॉट द रोल दैट यू हैव टू डिसाइड, इट्स द बिजनेस एंड नॉन फैमिली एग्जीक्यूटिव्स हु विल डिसाइड कि आप कहाँ पे फिट हो रहे हो. एंड दे वॉन्ट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम इन द रिलेशनशिप कि मेरे बाद मेरा बेटा होना चाहिए, नहीं कि तेरा बेटा. राइट. So they decide their future roles and learn, practice and prepare for the futures. That is their systems, and they give them history, value and leadership. Of course, this is again examples from India. एक लड़की यहाँ से engineering करके US में Harvard से MBA किया, then worked in USA, MNCs, then come back to India, work in a IT company, e-commerce company, and then joined the business and finded a place in the business. Why we don't have time, otherwise this is a wonderful case study कि जहाँ उसने अपनी जगह एक नया business, देखो these 4 case studies I took with the intention to think about the entrepreneurship and जो 4 हमने बताया आपको, उस हिसाब से आप इनको लिंक कर सकते हैं. राइट. We skip this slide. What is the role of board? क्या बोर्ड का रोल होना चाहिए? लास्ट, द की रोल ऑफ एनी बोर्ड इज टू सिलेक्ट द राइट CEO. एंड हु आर देयर इन द बोर्ड? देखो, सक्सेसफुल ट्रांजिशन के लिए आपके बोर्ड के अंदर मैक्सिमम पीपल नॉन फैमिली एग्जीक्यूटिव होने चाहिए, बिकॉज तब जाके आपको बाहर से हवा आएगी ना. यू विल गेट न्यू थॉट्स, न्यू आइडियाज. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, हम ही लोग घर के 5 लोग बैठे हैं एंड वी आर डिसाइडिंग कि हमें क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. राइट. दिस इज योर टेक अवे. व्हाट आई हैव टॉक टू यू, इट्स ऑल अबाउट ट्रांजिशंस, व्हाट यू वांट टू ट्रांजिट फ्रॉम वन जनरेशन टू द अदर. द फर्स्ट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ योर फैमिली. We see value on the business, and value should be written on your family constitution. It should be a living document. It should not be इसीलिए मैंने एक फैमिली के साथ मीटिंग किया है. I lived my few days of life in their home in Hong Kong. ली कुंग की के यहाँ एक पेन स्टैंड है जिसके ऊपर लिखा है देयर वैल्यूज एंड डूज एंड डोंट्स. हम लोग क्या करेंगे क्या नहीं करेंगे. दैट्स अ 7 जनरेशन ओल्ड फैमिली बिजनेस. इस फैमिली बिजनेस को हार्वर्ड भी आज पढ़ा रही है. सो वैल्यू ट्रांसफरिंग टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. विजन किसका? बिजनेस का? नो, विजन ऑफ द फैमिली. आई एम ऑलवेज टॉकिंग अबाउट द फैमिली. राइट. Very interesting things. I told that the senior generation, it is very difficult transiting from driver's seat to the passenger seat. So do you have this exit plan? If not, you must clear. Because it's not like that कि आज तुम यहाँ बैठ जाओ मैं निकल गया. If it is that model, think about it. There are models कि आप उसके साथ में बैठो. आपने अपने बच्चे को साइकिल चलाना सिखाया होगा, कैसे चलाते थे? आप उसके साथ साथ में दौड़ते थे. That model is there. All right, clarify expectations. Very, very important thing is what you want to hold on. Please hold on your core. आपका जो core है ना, उसको कभी मत बदलिए. But you of course let go all other things which is complement. I said change is a complement for the core. तो क्या let go करना है, क्या hold करना है, that is the responsibility of the senior generation. And do we have a strategy? I mean to say, do we have a pipeline for creating the next generation? If not, please create it. And that's why the family needs advisors and family business. All right, I stop here. We can take questions now, if you have any questions. Yes, sir. Thank you.
By talking to you, I was happy. You are a very experienced and named the company in India, and you have not guided them or worked with them. So big clap for him.
Thank you.
You said 3% of the business pass on their, I mean, they continue in their own business. At the same time, you said that
46 generation business is there in Japan. Japan is the home of oldest family business.
That is one thing, and you said something very good and stylish. See, family business never fail.
Yeah, business never fail.
Business never fail.
Family fail.
So these are, I mean, contradicting. 3%
Correct.
succeed in the business and family business never fail.
Correct.
This is one thing. We saw in Ahmedabad excellent businessmen, Gujarati families doing good business, say mills
Hmm.
from 1940s and so on. We saw 2, 3 generation, third generation started and then things collapsed or vanished. Second thing we saw, I mean, Tata families, and we could see that third, fourth generation doing well, and we appreciate. We also saw a family, top ranking family, first 5, I think, in their time. They had, and now the predecessor, the grandfather is now just on the way of court and all this, having a small house and business with the son, and now we know the story. Now, can you just connect and tell something on this?
Oh yes, of course. This is a very good questions. There are many questions. He don't ask one question, he asks series of questions. So we split it. The first question is why 3% business? Because when business move from first generation to second generation, they don't change the vehicle. They don't change the governance system. I have a question. Do they have a governance system? The answer is no. Do they have a family constitution in place? The answer, most of the answer is no. Do they have a ownership agreement, clear cut ownership agreement, whom we can transfer, how we can transfer? There are, camera is okay, बंद है कि चालू है? बंद कर दो? Pardon, okay. See, there are many families wherein in-laws are playing vital role. So first of all, we have to decide. All right, I cannot give you the name, but there are families wherein in-laws are making so many influence on the next gen. Right? There are cases from Ahmedabad only that I have managed and I have solved. But if we are not able to define whom do we consider as a family, मतलब किसको family के अंदर आने देना है, किसको हम ownership देंगे. मान लो my brother-in-law is coming to join my business as an employee. Then later on, my business needs money and he gives me money. So he gets little part of the ownership. That's how. Do we allow? If yes, whom? How long? Do we give them voting right? See, in India, 98 years old, very big brand of Ayurveda was sold because not having ownership agreement in place. And the unfortunate incident is that that company who buy the 50% owner stake, they hostile take over remaining 50% of the stake from the other partners. But still they are running with the same name and same brand. So what I mean to say, when family grow from one generation to the other generation, there is a complexity in the relationship because we have never clarified the expectations. We have never clarified the roles and responsibilities of individual. I can fire my employee, but I cannot fire my brother. I cannot fire my son. It's Marriott only. Why Marriott is Marriott? All right. He may say to his son, "Ki abhi you are not capable. I can give it to someone for some years to drive the vehicle. When you are really capable, you can take the charge from him." If the father is that clear in his thought process about passing on the transition from one generation to the other, then it is possible. But हम लोग करते क्या है, गलती क्या करते हैं? We are gifting the business. Instead of that, blood is always thicker than the water, you know. So मुझे मेरा बेटा सबसे प्यारा है, ठीक है, बिजनेस का कुछ होगा नहीं होगा. But if I'll put business first, family second, तो मुझे लगता है कि business will go beyond third generation. All right. And that is the reason why Japan has created the system. And I've studied, you please Google, you will find my article and my research studies on Japanese family business. Why they go beyond third generation, 46th generation. What is the system of decision making? Have we created any system of decision making? I've seen in Gujarati, હું કહું છું ને એટલે કરવાનું છે. But why? What are the plus and what are the minus? What is good for the business is good for the family. So first thing, foundation is we must create a governance system. And in governance system, we must educate each and every individuals in the family, and we must give them equal opportunity. But please remember, equal is not fair in family business. I said, you have a right to take what you contribute. You cannot take beyond your contribution. जितना आपने अंदर डाला है उतना आप निकाल सकते हो. It's not father's business, so you get and I get 50-50. But that's the reason. Then one fine day we think कि आप जो है वो ज़्यादा ले रहे हो. ठीक है? Yeah, please.
हेलो सर, थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग. मेरा 2 क्वेश्चन है सर. एक तो पहले मुझे एज ए फैमिली, मेरा भाई भी मेरे साथ काम करता है, कज़िन. हमारे फैमिली बिजनेस में मेरे फादर उन्होंने एस्टेब्लिश किया सब, और मेरा कज़िन और हम दोनों साथ में ही करते हैं, राइट. तो वो मेरा ब्रदर है, इसीलिए मुझे उसको साथ में रखना वो तो समझता हूँ, मगर मुझे अंदर से ऐसा है कि मेरे जो सारे एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं मुझे उनको भी ऐसे इमोशनली ट्रीट करना है, राइट, कि वो भी मेरे साथ काम करें, मगर उतना एग्जीक्यूशन मेरे पास नहीं है कि मैं उनसे काम ले सकूं. मुझे उनको निकालना नहीं है कि तुमने ये करके दिया, तुमने ये गलती की, तुम निकल जाओ, मगर उनको कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करें. यानी कि जैसे कि 4 लोग हैं तो 4 में से एक, जैसे कि मैं फाइनेंस में बहुत कच्चा हूँ, मेरा भाई है वो बहुत फाइनेंस में बहुत एकदम पर्टिकुलर है कि वो कहीं से फाइनेंस की थोड़ी कमी रहती है, सब कुछ मैनेज करता है बहुत अच्छी तरीके से. तो ऐसे कैसे इंडिविजुअल कैपेबिलिटीज़ को आइडेंटिफाई करें और उनको बाहर निकालें. और एक सेकंड क्वेश्चन सर, कि मेरे फादर, उनको अकाउंट्स खुद को लिखना अच्छा लगता है और उनको आता भी बहुत अच्छा है, मगर मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि इफ़ वी फोकस ऑन अ फ्यूचर बिजनेस, राइट, फॉर द एग्जांपल कि जैसे कि अकाउंट्स है, अगर मैं उसको पैसे देकर किसी और से करवा सकता हूँ, राइट, और मैं अगले साल के बारे में या फिर 6 महीने बाद के प्लान्स के बारे में, बिजनेस प्लान के बारे में क्या कर सकता हूँ, तो ये बेटर है कि मैं अपना जो मुझे पैसे देके मैं काम करवा सकता हूँ, मैं हायर करूँ और मैं उनको दे दूँ. मैं कर भी सकता हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं गाड़ी नहीं चला सकता तो मैं दे रहा हूँ, मैं गाड़ी भी चला सकता हूँ, मगर मैं साइड में बैठ के कुछ आगे का सोच सकता हूँ, राइट, फ्यूचर प्लान्स के लिए. तो मैं क्या करूँ? ये 2 क्वेश्चन है मेरे.
सी देखो, पहला क्वेश्चन है कि आपको और आपके भाई के साथ में, योर ब्रदर इज़ गुड इन अकाउंट, योर फादर इज़ गुड इन अकाउंट, सो यू शुड गो विथ अकाउंट और नॉट. देखिए, घर के अंदर आपने पांडवों को देखा है, 5 लोग थे ना. अगर सभी लोगों ने सीखा होता कि मैं भी गधा चलाऊँ, बस तू भी गधा चला, सब लोग गधा चलाते तो क्या होता? युद्ध जीत सकते हैं क्या? आई स्किप दैट स्लाइड, दैट्स अ वंडरफुल स्टोरी बिकॉज ऑफ टाइम. What is your role? Who are you? आप क्या है? देखिए, this is a family business is not about the power. It's about the collaborative and cooperative leadership. तू ये अच्छा है, ठीक है, इसको कर, मैं इधर अच्छा हूँ, दोनों मिलके करेंगे तो कुछ ज़्यादा बनेगा. अब सब लोग एक ही चीज़ बनाएंगे, सब लोग गदा ही चलाएंगे, तो फिर सामने से तीर आएगा, क्या करेंगे? तीर भी आ सकता है, कुछ भी आ सकता है यार. सो कोऑपरेटिव एंड कोलैबोरेटिव स्किल्स एंड कैपेबिलिटीज आप डिफरेंट एंगल से करेंगे. ये केस है ना, ये जो नालिया वाला, ये दिस इज द केस, ये यही है. दे वर ट्रेडिशनली डूइंग द बिजनेस, बट इसने है ना, तीर के बाद सब लोगों के पास तीर था, ये गधा लेके आया, तो क्या बन गया ये? और कैपेबिलिटी. ठीक है, आप एक दूसरे के साथ कभी भी अपने फैमिली के अंदर, पर्टिकुलरली इन द कजिन्स जनरेशन, एक दूसरे को कॉम्पिटिटर कभी मत समझो। उसकी जगह पे आप अपने बिजनेस को आगे कैसे लेके जाए, मेरा क्या कोर है, उसके ऊपर मैं कैसे बिजनेस में कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूं, ऐसे सोचोगे तो एक बड़ा सा टीम बनेगा। एंड देन सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, मुझे करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए। इफ यू हैव अदर अपॉर्चुनिटी, इफ यू आर एक्सेल इन दैट पर्टिकुलर स्किल, एंड इफ यू फाइंड समवन, तुम्हारे डिपार्टमेंट में, तुम्हारे फैक्ट्री के अंदर अगर एक भी बंदा है जो वो काम कर सकता है, तो वो तुम्हें नहीं करना चाहिए। नहीं करना चाहिए मतलब तुम फ्री बैठोगे? नहीं, अपने आप को देखो, एक एवरी डे यू हैव टू टेक योर सेल्फ टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल, ठीक है? तब जाके तुम वो बाकी लोगों जिसको तुम बोलना चाहते हो ना, आज क्यों नहीं बोल सकते हो? कहीं पे वो लोग तुमसे ज़्यादा लेवल पे है, तुम उससे कम लेवल पे हो। इफ़ यू विल टेक योर सेल्फ टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल, तो तब जाके वो लोग तुम्हें एक्सेप्ट करेंगे। व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस? वन ऑफ द चैलेंजेस एक्सेप्टिंग द पर्सन। राम को वो युद्ध करने क्यों भेजा? एक्सेप्ट द पीपल कि ये राजा बन सकता है, इसलिए नहीं कि मेरा बेटा है तो वो राजा बन गया है, ठीक है? ही अर्न हिज बिजनेस। तुम्हारे घर के अंदर, तुम्हारे नेक्स्ट जनरेशन के अंदर एक भी आदमी है जो काम कर सकता है, तो यू लीव इट एंड यू डू समथिंग न्यू, इनोवेशंस, ठीक है? नहीं, वो झगड़े इसलिए होते हैं कि हमारे बीच क्लियरिटी नहीं है डे वन। That's, see, you have to clear every day your relationship, what I told you. And if you have not created these documents, आज तुम नहीं बोल सकते हो, this is called elephant in the room. We are not discussing the things which needs to discuss at this moment. Everybody know कहाँ पे bottleneck है, but no one is ready to touch it. ठीक है? अगर आज नहीं करोगे, कल दादी भी नहीं होगी, कल सीनियर जनरेशन के सब लोग चलेंगे, फिर तुमसे नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जो आएगी, तब प्रॉब्लम कैसा कितना होगा? कम होगा, बड़ा होगा, क्या होगा? देखो, फैमिली बिजनेस की एक ही लेसन आज घर लेके जाओ, जब तुम्हारे घर के अंदर या फैमिली के अंदर कोई इश्यूज नहीं है ना, तब रूल बना लो। मैं तुम्हारी सोसाइटी में आके, आप लोगों ने सोसाइटी में कभी क्रिकेट खेला है? हाँ, मैं चलो इधर आया तो इधर एक बाजू वाला आंटी है, वो एक बॉल उसके घर जाता है, वो बॉल ले लेता है ना, तो मैंने मारा, आपने बोला आउट, मैं आउट बोलूँगा? मैं क्या करूँगा? कैसे आउट? क्यों आउट? तो आप बोलोगे उधर जाता है तो आउट। मेरे हाथ में क्या है? बैट लेके भाग जाऊँगा। आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? व्हाट इज बैट? देर आर ओनली टू रिसोर्सेज, एक है बॉल और एक है बैट। बॉल क्या हो गया? फैक्ट्री को सील लग गया, समझो मेरी बात, सीधी सीधी बताऊं। बैट किसके नाम है? बापूजी ने उस टाइम क्लियरिटी नहीं थी, मेरे नाम डॉक्यूमेंट्स कर दिए थे, मैं बोला ये तो मेरा है, समझे? तो था वो चला गया, जो अनक्लियर है वो सब मेरे नाम पे किया था, बट वॉज देयर एनी क्लियरिटी कि भाई ये तुम्हारे नाम पे किया है, बट दिस इज नॉट योर्स? इज देयर एनी डॉक्यूमेंट्स? प्लीज क्लेरिफाई इट। देखो, जो आप आज है ना, जो लोग आज डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे ना, वो कल कभी उसको डिस्कस करने लायक नहीं रहेंगे। दैट्स वाई फैमिली बिजनेस आर वल्नरेबल एट द टाइम ऑफ ट्रांजिशन। एक जनरेशन के बाद जब जाते, दे कम आउट ऑन द रोड टू वॉश दैट डर्टी क्लोथ, एंड लोग उनको देखते। फैमिली बिजनेस की स्टोरी कब आती है न्यूज़पेपर में? डिस्प्यूट्स, ठीक है? तो जब डिफरेंसेस है ना, उसी टाइम पे आप लोग डायलॉग करो, एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू मस्ट हैव अ फैमिली काउंसिल इन प्लेस, एंड दैट इज द रोल ऑफ। आपने कभी बॉक्सिंग देखा है? बॉक्सिंग में एक आदमी होता है, 2 लोग लड़ते हैं, बीच वाला आदमी क्या करता है? रेफरी. व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ रेफरी? रेफरी गेम प्ले कर रहा है? नहीं, मॉनिटर करता है किसने लाइन क्रॉस किया. प्रोफेशनलाइज योर पर्सनल रिलेशनशिप. दैट इज अ ग्रेट लेसन. तू अपनी बाउंड्री क्रॉस कर रहा है, वो डिसाइड कौन करेगा? रूल पहले बनने चाहिए. एंड यू मस्ट हैव ए एडवाइजर, यू मस्ट हैव ए थर्ड पर्सन who see what is good for the business and what is good for the family, not for you or not for him. Understand? Right? So we stop here. Thank you very much.
I don't want to stop here, but rules, big rules.
Right. Understand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think it was one of the best talks we've had since long, and being the chair of the meeting, I have to be the villain here. We could have, personally, I would have wanted him to continue for like maybe a couple of more hours, but considering the time restraint, we'll have to stop it here. A couple of things I want to say about what I noted, but whatever I noted here, before that I want to say this, that my experience of so many years says that when an academician is in touch with the market, this is the miracle that happens. Because either you are this or you are that, somewhere you will fail. But चल भले वो engineering हो, भले वो management हो, ये 2 areas का तो मुझे मालूम है. When somebody really teaches something, but he is totally connected with the market, so he can create magic, and that's what we saw today. So thank you so much, sir. And so a couple of things, yeah. So let's really clap for him, right? Before, I mean, we have just 2 minutes more, but before you leave, just fill in that feedback form, please. Okay, so transition is a word that I first of all noted, and I think much of what I have to summarize is just been talked about, so I'll kind of skip that, but one important word was transition, progressive transition. Another that we all took was legacy, and that is something that we all understand, that business is all about legacy, the torch that we have to carry and maybe pass on to the next generation, the whole process of doing that. I just want to add a little value. सूरज को दिया दिखा रहा हूँ सर, पर थोड़ी सी एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ इनके पॉइंट में. When गीता में जो अटैचमेंट का वर्ड है ना, गीता is all about it started in 2nd अध्याय where Krishna says तुम क्यों इतना मोहित हो रहा है, तुम क्यों, so all of those things were मोहित. And in the end, in 18th अध्याय 72nd श्लोक he again says तेरा मोह क्लियर हुआ कि नहीं, जबकि इतना कुछ बताया गीता में. So many things were told, the whole Gita is all about, every chapter is having so many things to teach, but one thing was there which was एक ही चीज़ पूछा, तेरा मोह खत्म हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. So what this kind of gives us a feeling that Gita probably is all about telling, or maybe the scriptures are telling, भैया मोह को खत्म करो. तो वहाँ मोह जो है वो बिजनेस अभी वहीं पे आता है कि मोह खत्म करके बात की जाए. The conversation has to be straight. Wherever that misses out, he's given plenty of examples of that. So wonderful, I guess, yeah, so relationship is one area which we talked about. I love the word chief emotional officer, and of course the example that he gave, that if you want to let your next generation carry on, so you first let them lead by example and give the whole, let everybody see the performance that they've given, so that they know that they deserve the next seat. So thank you very much. Sorry for those people who wanted to ask further questions, but I stopped. You can now continue with them. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Have a great time. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.